Hey guys, thanks for jumping in. Cool. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes for everyone to file in on Zoom, but just give me a little wave or a little acknowledgement in the chat that you can hear me. Hey Hillary, and you can see that big orange screen at the front as well. That's usually a good sign that everything's working. Perfect. Thanks, Olivia. And I'll just start the video as well. So you should be able to see me now too, which is good. And then once we've waited a couple of minutes, we'll just get started. But basically what we're going over today is all of those new features, or most of the new features that came in our latest release last week. So you have had a little bit of time now to play around. So I'm hoping you might have seen some of the features. Hey, Clark. And you have had a bit of time to play around with them. One thing I will say is if you do have any feedback on them on how they could work better for you guys, or slight use cases you might use them for that we might not have thought of, or things like that, do let me know, because we are always listening. A lot of these features actually came from direct feedback from you guys, so keep it coming, because we do start to make changes based off it. And just a disclaimer, if we have any issues with internet, I am hardwired up to the internet, but fingers crossed, who knows what's going to happen. I will send out a recording at the end of today as well. So I'll be trying to share a little bit of my screen from the admin console side and the mobile side. But if there's any issues, just flick through an email to me at support@sideappro.co.nz, and we can go through anything from there afterwards if we do have any trouble. Throughout the webinar, there is that Q&A section in there as well. So it should just be a little button. If you can't find it, there is the chat, but try and put all of the questions through the Q&A. And I will try and get through to them throughout the webinar, but I usually just leave them to the end for the Q&A session, because my multitasking skills can be a little bit challenged at times. But don't hold back on asking questions, even if you don't feel it's completely relevant to the feature I'm talking about. Just throw it in there and we can chat about it at the end. Even if you're struggling with something in your account that you just want to bring up, use it today. It might help someone else who's listening and watching as well. Awesome. So I will get started. So for anyone who's trying to get on, they can just jump in where we are now. But we've added some features on both the admin console, so the web login side, and on the mobile side. So for anyone who's new to SideApp, we do have those two sides to it. The mobile or like phone app side is what you use to complete the forms on. So it's probably what your team will use primarily to do their health and safety. And then the admin console is on your web browser on your computer or laptop, and it's accessed through our SideApp Pro website. And you can use that for setting up, checking in on your team remotely, so when you're at home, and you can also use it to, build your health and safety forms and get all the data out if you do need to send it off to anyone at any time as well. So we'll start in there for today. Do let me know throughout if you have any trouble with sound or the visuals or anything, and I'll try and get it sorted. And if not, as I said, I'll reach out to you at the end anyways. Cool. So you should all be able to see the dashboard screen. I am actually currently on the analysis tab, but I'll jump back just to the main dashboard. Just give me a little wave so that I know you can see it, but you should be able to see everything from here. The first feature that I want to show you is this analysis tab. So this is a really powerful feature. It can be used for heaps of different use cases. So what I might display or show today might not be what you'll actually use it for, but you'll start to work out how to use it. Feel free to have a play around with it. But it just allows you to get a deep dive and a really nice visual on what's going on across all of your jobs in your account. So at the moment, it looks quite cool with all the different colors, but basically this is just a massive overview right now. You can kind of just see the form completion each month. So we know what's going on. There's things that are happening on the sites. But what I would use this for, so if anyone does send off reports to maybe a board or a client or your health and safety consultant to keep them in the loop, this can be a really good one to send off, or to show them if you do it in a meeting. You can have your admin console up on display if you guys do it like that, and take them through this report from here. In this first release, as we do say with new features, we kind of build it and then we listen to feedback and start to add on new features and improvements from there. So we don't currently have the ability to export this. If you do want to, capture it and pop it in an email or send it off to your team or things like that, a screenshot's the best option at the moment. So let me know if you need a hand with how to screenshot on your computer, and I can help you out with that as well. Cool. So looking at this, it can be a little bit overwhelming, but just a couple of little things to look at first. Date range, you can choose from last 12 months, last 3 months, last month, or this year. So you can change those accordingly. You can also drill down into your report further by looking at it from a month view, week view, or a day view, depending on how in depth you want that data to go. So for today's example, I'm going to do it based off the form name. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across here and filter. So I'm going to go through and look at all the different forms that are in my account and choose which ones I want to compare on this graph. So what I want to do is I want to have a look at the check in and out ones. So I want to make sure I can see who's checking in and out of site compared to how many people are doing my personal pre-starts, because for my account, when people check in, I essentially need them to do a pre-start on that job. So I want to check in to make sure most people are doing those pre-starts each day. So when they check in and out, I'm then going to scroll down and I'm going to find my personal pre-start. And then you can either click out or I can scroll down and just go apply filter. So we've got a very pink and purple graph here, but what you can see if I hover over here is that purple is the check in and out. And then we've also got that pink is the personal pre-start. So you can see each month it's looking relatively even. So apart from maybe in June and July, that it looks like when people check in and out, they're usually doing those personal pre-starts. So it's just an overview. You can also change it if you are sending it off for cool different visuals, a curve line, a curve graph or a line. That's just for your pure amusement as well. But that's a really good one to kind of look into, drill into, see what's happening and send it off to be like, yep, looking pretty good. Or maybe I was expecting a few more pre-starts to be done on each site when they check in. So guys, we need to increase that next time. As I said, this is a big overview, just a visual graph. So if you want to drill into it further, do jump across to the reports page and you can get the actual numbers and the actual data out of the forms from there. Another example is I'm going to use the form category this time, and I'm going to use the filter. So I want to see, I know there's been a lot of incidents on my sites recently. So I'm going to actually compare my troubleshooting forms or even incident forms. We'll do troubleshooting for today compared to my training forms. So I want to see if maybe we've dropped off with training and that's why we've had a few more incidents, or what the relation is with that. So here, if I hover over here, I can see a lot of training is done in December and there was only one incident. So that's usually quite a good sign. There was one in January and then this is all the training done. So looks relatively good. Doing a lot of training seems to be keeping the incidents down, just as an example. You could also even use this for, if I go back to none and just go here, just to bring it back to that original view. You could even go here and go to sites, and that shows your site names down the side. You could send it off. Maybe you've got quite a competitive team and you want to, get them to kind of add a bit of gamification into it. Go, hey guys, it looks like whoever this red site is, the Queen Street site, smashing out their forms. They're doing really well. Let's look at Ivan's or the Albany site. You guys aren't doing too good. Send it off, get them to kind of be motivated to do that form completion from there. Cool, so have a play around with that to see different ways you guys could use it. If I scroll down, I've got the answer analysis graph that just allows you to take a one step deeper dive into specific answers that are in the form. So for this example, you may want to look into maybe like your risk assessment form to find out the most common risks that are coming up. So I'd go in here, select a form, and then you select a question from within that form. So I'll go select risks and hazards, and then it'll just show me, all of the risks down the side and which ones are most common to kind of pop up on our sites. Again, you can filter down to just only show a couple of the ones that you want to focus on. The final thing I will talk about on this one is kind of transitioning some of your forms to have more multi-choice answer types. So this could be a really strong tool if you want to drill into your incidents a little bit more. So say you're using your incident form. We haven't done this for you guys in our default form just because we can't at the moment predict what type of incidents everyone would have, but you can definitely do this from your end. So in your incident form, you can go into it, change one of your answers to a multi-choice. So say it's like, what type of incident is it or what happened? If you've got the common ones or all of the ones that could happen, you could lay them out there. That way, when they fill in the form, you can use this answer graph to get a good solid graph on the most common incidents or the most common reasons why you're getting those incidents and get a good little scale from that side as well. If anyone wants some specific help on how to change that form, just flick me an email because I probably don't have time to go right into that today, but let me know and it will really help with that reporting just to make sure everyone's safe. And if there's one specific type of incident that's happening, you can try and work out how to stop it, things like that. Awesome. So that is the answer analysis tab. I saw your question, Hillary. Can we get the last 7 days view of this data? At the moment, it is just these ones. The last 3 months is the smallest, but I will pass that on to the team to see if that's possible in the future, because it's more of an overview of, we imagine like a bigger time range, but I'll see if that's possible. Last little thing here I did forget to show you guys is the table. For anyone who's familiar with the reporting side, it's basically like that completed forms tab. So you can drill down here, see the name of the form, open it up individually, and you can even export that list of forms from there as well. Cool. So the second thing we have changed is in team and users. It's a reasonably small change, but I will show you what it is from here. We've just added a couple of user roles. So say I am looking at, let's just make a new user. So you go across here, click the little user icon, and we'll go down to the user roles. So you'll see there's quite a few added in here. Internal verifier is one of the new ones, but for anyone who does use the old verifier role, is the exact same thing. So we've just called it internal verifier. The difference is we've added the external verifier, and what that is if you've got maybe an external health and safety consultant who just looks at the completed forms, or you have an auditor that has come in and they want to see your reports, they could go in and you could set them up with an external verifier role, or anyone who you don't want access to edit anything. So basically what it is, it's an admin login only, but it's view only. So best use case is if they just want to go through, look through your reports, see the data, but you don't want them to be able to edit anything. So that's what that role is for. The other one we've added is tablet manager. We've had this one quite highly requested. And what it is it's the same role type as the field worker or the contractor. But what it is it gives you a little bit of extra access just on the mobile. So they can only log into the app, but it gives them that extra ability to be able to add sites from the app because they've got the manager access on the app. They can add team if you guys just use the team, or they can edit staff and users details. And they can also view locked information. So, when people complete like an incident, troubleshooting, or training form, they can go in and view that from the app, any of those completed forms. So this one is app-based only, but they've got access to absolutely everything from the app. Cool, so those are the user role changes. That's basically all we've really done on that side. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility for maybe project managers or foremen on site who you might not need to have admin access, but they need to have control over everything on the app. Perfect. The next change, which is quite a big one, is around our equipment. And this is around the ability to add in your road user charges. So for anyone who works with vehicles and you do use like the diesel Ks, or you work with the road user charges, you can now have an ability to track this within your account. So to do this, say I was making a new piece of equipment, but you can just go in and update your piece of equipment if it's already existing. I'll go in here to add a new piece of equipment and say, let's just get my keyboard sorted. Say I am adding let's go, I got one. We'll do my Toyota Hilux, but we'll go I'll say it's my new one. That'll do. Equipment serial number, that can be my number plate or whatever works. Description, so on. This is all the same. Scroll down. When you select vehicle type, it gives you the ability to add a little bit more now. So if I go down to maintenance, that's the same as it used to be. So anyone who's a service supplier will show up here. Frequency interval, let's say months. Say I want it to be checked every 3 months or so. But the main part we want to look at is this road user charges section here. If you can't see it, make sure you have got the vehicle category turned on. It's only relevant for that one, and I'm pretty sure the plant category as well. But what we've got here is a bit of information you can add in about the vehicle just to start with. So you only have to fill this in once, or when you have gone and bought a new set of those RUCs. So the road user charge rate, this is just for your own documentation purposes, but we have got a document in our help article that will kind of link to that. But say mine is around $82, depending on my vehicle type. Oh, let's go to, I keep messing around with my mouse and screwing that one up. There we go. Minimum distance, that's the minimum amount that you bought. So say for my example, I bought 12,000. That's where that was the minimum, and the maximum will go up to, let's say, 15,000, reasonably small. The vehicle type, mine's vehicle 1, but that's all in the document. Again, you guys don't have to do that top one and this one, but this one here is quite important to add in. The serial number of your odometer, hub odometer, anything like that, if you've got one, want to keep track, you can add it in here. But this one here is the key one. So this is what your current reading is in the vehicle on the odometer or hub odometer. So say my current reading is, let's go 14,000. That can be my current one. I hope that all makes sense so far. So I'm going to save that. So that's all I'm setting up. And it's just a matter of looking at the vehicle and getting that all in check the first time. And then from there, your team can manage it completely from the app until you buy new road user charges. So I'm going to save that piece of equipment. While I'm here, before I jump to the mobile, you can get notified when these are about to be overdue. So when you've only got 500 Ks left until your maximum range, you can get a little notification, and that's currently just set off the same notification as your maintenance. If anyone's got any feedback around the notification side, again, let us know, but this is just kind of the first build of it. But if you've got the equipment maintenance one turned on, you'll get notified about those road user charges as well. You'll also be able to see it on the dashboard when it is coming up to be due, which will show up in there as well. So you can see this vehicle here is coming up on the dashboard at the moment. Mine's still got a little way to go. Awesome. So let's just cross my fingers and hope that my phone sharing is going to work. Is everyone okay so far? I haven't lost anyone completely with new features or anything. Good. Okay, this is good. And you can now see my phone screen ideally. So now that I'm on the phone, this is where your team comes into play. What we've added is a form called road user charges. So at the moment it's an ad hoc form. So I click that orange plus button. I'm just going to search at the top, which is a new thing we have added, which is, I think, an absolute small change, but a game changer. And then you can click on this one here, road user charges. Again, I probably recommend to favorite it if it's one you're going to get the team to fill in quite a bit. Once you're in here, really, really basic form. And if you want to start to incorporate this into your maybe vehicle checks, you can go through and edit this form on the computer, add in your vehicle checks as well. So that way they can update this form each day or week or month whenever you do those vehicle checks, and you can get that odometer update to check in with those RUCs at the same time. So there's a bit of information at the top, but where I want to go to is this question here. I'm going to click on that. At the moment, you need to click on equipment at the top here, and that's how you select the vehicle that you're after. I haven't updated my phone since I added that new piece of equipment. I'm just going to go into here, try and load that again. If not, we'll just use a different one for the time being. No, that's all right. But we'll go into here and do the Toyota Hilux. So I'm going to select that one to update it from there. I'm just going to make sure this one's all set up for it because I think I did this one yesterday. 1232, 1500. Okay, awesome. So for this one, the maximum distance is 150,000 Ks, and I'm currently on 130 is what's documented on the admin console. So now that I've selected that vehicle, I'm just going to type in what my current hub odometer or odometer reading is. So I'm going to do it and I'm going to say it's 1145 and I'm going to go 600. Cool. I'm then going to save that. If you have more vehicle checks to do, say you now want to check like the windscreen, the tire pressure, things like that, you could add that into this form. And then I just save the form off. So it's a really, really simple form. It's just a matter of selecting the piece of equipment or the vehicle that you're doing, and then the road user charges from there. Awesome. So that is that side of it. Then once you're done, again, you can change the contents of the form or edit the form to suit you as well. But once that's done, it will notify you, as I said, on the dashboard when it's coming up to being due. It'll notify you if you've got those maintenance records set up or the notifications. And that way, when it is due to expire, you can go update those records and then log in, go to equipment and update it based off the new road user charges you've purchased. Cool. So that is that side of it. Again, let me know if you have any questions. And then we'll be able to, work on it, see how everyone's starting to use that form and work on it from there. Does anyone think that they'll use the road user charges for their day-to-day kind of tracking or anything like that? Feel free to pop a message in the chat just to let me know. And I can always have a chat with you after to see if there's anything else we can help with around that. Cool. The next feature is quite a cool one for anyone who uses our check-in and out feature. So we've got this little orange tick at the bottom. And what this does is it allows you to check in and out of sight. So you go onto it, you can click the check-in, and then once you're done, you can check out. It also has the ability here to do that personal pre-start. Perfect. Yeah, sweet. Thanks, Olivia. I see that that's how I imagined it was using those road user forms during those monthly vehicle checks. That'll be perfect. Awesome. That's good to hear some good feedback. But yeah, so you've got this one here, you check in, and then these forms are those forms that each user gets for their own self. So they get that personal pre-start to complete per day per user. And then the site induction, they get just once per job, and they get that once per job for that whole duration of the job per user. This hasn't changed, but what you can do is if I try and share it back to the Google Chrome screen, you should be able to see this admin console again. And if I go down to my business, what I can do is I can actually change the way that my screen on the mobile is displayed. So if you guys predominantly use those check-in and out, the check-in and out feature, and you want them to use that personal pre-start and the site induction as their main set of forms, you can actually change your screen. So that's where the screen will open to when they open up the app. That way it's really user-friendly. They only have to open it up, they'll select their job, be able to check in straight away and go in and fill in those forms. You can also set up almost like a workflow or a prompt to be able to, when they do check in, it'll straight away open up that personal pre-start. So they've got it open there. They don't really have the option to not fill it in. So to set that up, you go into My Business on the admin console and you scroll down to where it says mobile homepage. So I'm going to change mine to the check-in screen. So that means when I log in, it opens up that check-in screen straight away. So this is perfect for anyone who uses that check-in and out every day for their team. You can still access that old diary checklist page, but it's just not the main thing that they kind of work with. Obviously, make sure if you are doing this, you've got the check-in feature actually turned on. So that's this button here. And you can prompt the users to complete that personal pre-start afterwards. So I've turned that one on so we can see how it works. Some of you may have noticed we do have that audit history thing now turned on as well, where a few of our accounts did need that for kind of auditing reasons and just for traceability across their whole account. And it basically shows you when they've edited a question to change their answers and what their original answer was. If that doesn't work for you guys and your setup, just turn it off. So you can just untick that here and that will take that feature off completely for you, and just save the page, then that's done. So it's not forced, it's not forced on you guys if you don't need it. Awesome. So now that I've saved that, you will then, when you open up the app, if I just share my screen back, sorry, we've got a bit of a jumping in and out of both accounts at the moment. Awesome. Open that one up. Yes, there we are. I always get nervous it's not going to work. So I'm actually just going to kill the app, for example. This is my beautiful Queenstown background on my phone. But if I go across here and click on Site App to open it up now, what I will see is that I need to choose the account that I'm in because I'm accessed across multiple accounts. But from there, that first screen that pops up is my check-in screen. Which I find is really helpful for people who are using that check-in and out feature. So now what they can do is they can click up the top, choose the site they're working on that day. So same as before. And then they can check into their job. So I'm going to check in today. And then now it's automatically opened my personal pre-start for me. So I can do that pre-start straight away without having the temptation of not doing it. So have I got the correct PPE? Yes, I do. Are all hazards covered by the current risk assessment? Yes. Are you trained? Yep. And are you feeling safe and well? Sure am. Cool. So from there, I can click Save Final. Same thing as before. Select my name. That's not my name, just so you know. And then sign the form off from there. Now that form is completed. My stuff is all done for today. I know I've done my site induction. And so to get out of this and go back to that main diary screen, they'll go up to the check-in, to the menu button, the three little lines top left corner, and they can go to diary checklists. And that takes them back to the screen. So if you guys use that pinned form to do your risk register, they can go on in here, check those risks are all up to scratch. Sorry, mine's blank at the moment. Add any new risks that they might have seen, and then they can basically start work from there. Again, you've still got the ability to do that toolbox and access the ad hoc forms, but it just prompts you to do those check-in forms straight away. So they've just makes it really easy for your team, especially new staff as well. Cool, so that's that one. To get back to that check-in and out page, same as before, either going through there, or you can go up to the menu and you can go to home if you've got that setting turned on. And I'll just check out for now. Sweet. So that is that feature there. I'm going to go back to the diary checklist. So again, you edit that and turn it on or off from the admin console. Perfect. How are we going for time? We're looking pretty good so far, I think. Let's just double check. Oh no, we're going so many features to fit in. I will quickly show you the last feature, which is a bit of a monster. So try and stay with me for these last five or so minutes. But this is our corrective actions, which is a really, really cool, powerful feature that you guys can use in your account. We have had a similar version of this in the past, and that is those follow-up actions. You know how when you fill in a form, if I open one up here, actually, I'm going to go into my This Week tab. Say I'm filling in my Toolbox Talk form, and we'll go, are there any health and safety issues we need to be aware of? Say I say yes. What I can do is I can click these three little lines here to add a note or an action to this form. So a note are those blue notes, which are also the same as this blue note here, but this one I'm just attaching to a question. And then you can go in and add that action from there. So say I go, have job plans been reviewed? I'll go no. What I could do is create an action to someone in my team. And I could say, please send through job plans for us to review. Let's go by the next toolbox meeting. Just an example. From there, I'll go assign to. I'm going to choose someone in my team to send this notification to. So say I go and send it to Maddie, for example. You can set a color if you guys start to use this feature a lot. You can, kind of assign colors to specific topics. So maybe it'd have red for incidents, green for training, yellow for a task. Let's do yellow. Priority, you can filter by priority later. So I'm going to say this is a high one. And when due, I'm going to say that we'll do it by next week. So I'm going to say that's due for the next Toolbox Talk. You can also attach your form. So say you want someone to complete a training form or you need them to complete an incident form, you can attach the form they need so they can open it up when they get that notification. I'm then going to click the tick, and that'll save my little corrective action here with this little red icon up here. Let's just go no for this one. I'll select my name and I'll sign that off. Excuse me for moving fast here. But now that form's done. You can also access those actions by clicking on the blue note. You can add a note or observation of what's happened. And then if you want to, you can add a corrective action based off that note that you've added. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save Final, just as normal, sign off the form, and that saved that Toolbox Talk is complete for this week. And so what Maddie would have gotten, so who I just assigned that corrective action, is she would have gotten a push notification on her phone, letting her know what she's been asked of. When she opens up her phone or tablet, if you guys use those, she can click the little corrective actions icon, and that'll open up all of the corrective actions that are due at the moment. You can see this little corrective action for Maddie is at the bottom. It says exactly what we wrote. You can also click this little icon on the right to open up the form that it came from in case you needed a bit more context in regards to what actually happened. And it even highlights the question that they were actually attached that action to as well. If there was a form attached, you can see this one up here for Sam has the site induction attached. I can click on the form straight away and fill it in from there. Once you have completed that task, you can change the status completely. So I can change the status from to do, to started, to done, blocked or cancelled if it's not one that, you kind of need to delete it or something like that. So I'm going to change it to done to say I've done that. You can also change the priority and things like that. From this page, you can filter it just by my corrective actions that are due. So I'm logged in as Sam, which is why the Sam ones come up, but that shows only mine ones. You could filter it by my active ones or my overdue ones at the moment. And that lightning bolt shows any escalations that are related to your forms. Final thing that I will show you just from here before I jump to the computer side is this little orange plus. So if you're on your phone, it's not related to a form or anything you're doing that day, but you just want to add a corrective action for someone to do, or almost it's like you're assigning them a job or making a task or reminder. Click the little orange plus, and then you can just make one almost ad hoc. So it's not related to anything. Make a task for someone. It could be, hey, don't forget the job you're working on tomorrow needs this specific type of PPE. Please bring it. They can mark it as done once they did that. This can also be accessed from the menu in the Actions tab as well. So because of that, this also means the messages, you used to be able to set actions and messages from the same place. We've split those up completely. Cool. So jumping over to the phone side, the admin console one more time today. I'll show you what this now looks like from this side. So we've really enhanced this feature. It's quite similar as to how it used to be on the mobile, but the admin console has got a whole new revamp going on for it. So you should be able to see this corrective action summary at the top. If you guys don't see it in your account, click the little settings icon and you can drag it. Sometimes it's defaults to the bottom. You can drag it right up to the top to get it there. Here you can see the top 10 that are currently going, who they're assigned to and when they're due and what the task is. To drill into it, click on the little arrow icon to open up the corrective actions dashboard, and you can see everything that's been going on in here, and anything that's been closed shows here for, I'm pretty sure, the next 7 days. You can edit anything, so say there's typos or you need to correct what they've done, you can edit the text in these if you need to. You can change the status of them to cancel, to do, started. You can change who they're assigned to, the priority, and then when they're due. You can also click on it to see where that form actually came from. And this is the one we just made. That's the corrective action right there. What I can also do is filter. So I might want to filter by priority because I only want to look at the ones with a high priority today to make sure that those are all getting done straight away. Finally, from here, what you can do, again, like you can do on the phone, is just set one ad hoc. So if you're sitting at the office and you know that there's something that needs to be done, you can go in, create that action from here, and it'll notify that user you've sent it off to. If you guys do use team members and users, this feature works probably best just for users. If you do send a team member a notification, everyone will get that notification, as we don't know what login that's associated with. But if it's just a user, they'll only get that notification, but everyone will be able to see it from the actions page on their app. Cool, so that is a monster of a feature, but you can also go in and just get a really good oversight of what's happening, make sure it's been done, and if not, follow them up with a message or another corrective action. If that's not getting through, maybe send them a text or an email as well. You can also now, which I know has been a heavily requested feature, is add this to a form from the admin console. So say I'm sitting here looking at my activity stream and I see an incident has happened on a job. I'm going to click on that straight from the activity stream. I can see they knocked their head, they walked into the SCAF, which is not ideal. So I'm going to click up the top here and I'm going to add a corrective action to this one. I'm going to say, please update, I'm going to say, please complete a new risk assessment for this job to ensure it doesn't happen again. I can make it to do. I'll assign it to Sam, as that was the person who had the incident. Color, priority, you can do what you need to. Make that due by tomorrow. And I'm going to attach a form, and it's going to be the risk assessment I want them to complete. I then click the tick, it saves to that form, and once it's updated, it'll change in the form so you can see when it's been done or not. The person who made the corrective action will also get updated when that corrective action status has changed. So once they have marked it done, I'll get an email letting me know that that has been done. Awesome. Finally, you can also have a look at all of the actions that's been made in your account on the reports. There's a summary report called actions in there as well. And you can see the little icon on here shows you all of those in here as well. Cool. That is, as I said, a monster of a feature, but it can be seriously utilized in your account. So if you have any questions on how you could use it to suit you guys, let me know and I can try and help work it in with you guys. Use it for job management, use it for internal purposes, whatever works, but it can really help keep your team proactive with what they're doing on site. Awesome. That is mainly everything I want to show you. Really, really quick, I know I've gone over time, but in the resources, you can now export your certificates and permits. So if you do want to send off training records of documents saved in your account, click the export, click staff members, and then click the staff members you want to show those certificates and permits of, and it'll save it to computer as a Excel spreadsheet. Awesome. Okay, that's the last thing from me. But please pop those questions in. I've seen a couple have come through, and I will try and cover them, but add them in now while you've still got me. On the corrective action, can you assign it to many people? At the moment, you can actually only assign corrective actions just to one person at a time. Again, I will pass that on because that's some really good feedback, but that is currently just a single select. So you'd probably have to do multiple to contact multiple people at one time. Thanks for that question though, Gabby. Let's look at the chat. Awesome. Oh, cool. Thanks for sending that through, Dan, as well. That's really helpful. Easy. Oh, another question. Read the road user charges. Can we put the odometer reading on the vehicle pre-start, that data copy over to the equipment? At the moment, Hillary, you can't. That is something that we do see in the future, though, hopefully. I understand that could be really helpful to have it more like an answer type as opposed to just a form. But at the moment, it is hard-coded in that form. So what you could do, you guys use your vehicle pre-start a bit differently, but it would just need to stay as a separate form at the moment and kind of try to be introduced as a separate task for the time being. But again, I will send that feedback on because I think that would be really helpful just to be able to add it into your already existing forms and use it from there. Cool. On the daily check-in, can we send out a morning notification to remind them to sign in? Thanks, Chad. That's a very good question. You can't actually you can't automate a morning notification. You could set up almost like we do have daily form reminders, but it would have to be kind of unrelated. But the best thing would probably be a message. However, that's not quite automated. It would be a manual one each day. I've had quite a bit of feedback around because we have a reminder that you can set up for to remind them to check out. However, we don't get a lot of feedback to try and do a check-in reminder. The reason we can't do it quite yet is because we don't have the functionality to assign staff to a certain site. So we don't know which staff are supposed to be on which job at any given time. That's the only reason why, but I'll definitely pass it on because we have gotten that a couple of times. So we do usually try and make a change if the feedback keeps coming through of the same feature. But sometimes, to be honest, a calendar notification might be a good one for that one at the moment. Or you can try and schedule a form and set a reminder for that one that might be unrelated, but still gives them that prompt. I hope that answers your question. Sorry, can't do the feature quite at the moment though. Awesome. Anyone else got any other questions? That was a great session. Thanks for being so interactive with me as well. That always makes it really helpful too. As I said multiple times, I know, but please send through feedback about these features. We do love to hear it and see if we can make changes to suit you guys. Even if it's a tiny question, just flick it through and I'll hopefully be able to help you from there. Or if not, look into ways we'll be able to help in the future. Awesome. Okay, cool. I think I'll leave you guys to it, but have an awesome rest of the day. And I will hopefully chat with you all in the next couple of weeks before the next webinar. Thanks, guys. Bye.